Up next, senior lawyer at Legal Defense and Assistant Project in Lagos analyzes the realm of criminal law classified as the crime of passion and the legal provisions in Nigeria's laws.
The trial of Seidu Adeyemi, a suspect in the murder of Khadijat Oluboyo, ex-Ondo Deputy Governor's daughter, was stalled at the Ondo State High Court sitting in Akure due to lack of legal representation for the accused. Mr. Adeyemi, who was brought from the Olokuta prisons, is facing murder and conspiracy charges for allegedly killing his girlfriend, Khadijat Oluboyo, in July 2018. He is accused of burying the victim's remains in his bedroom in Akure for about 6 days before he was apprehended by men of the state's police command. At the commencement of the case, the Ondo State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Mr. Kola Olawoye, expressed the readiness of the government to ensure proper prosecution of the murder case.
After serving all the processes on him personally, we discovered that he hasn't got a legal representation. So that's what the court said, that it's a must that before the next adjournment day, he must look for a lawyer of his choice as provided in law. So when we come back next time, if he doesn't, after 2 adjournments, then the court is enjoined to pick a lawyer for him.
The trial judge, Justice Samuel Bola, however, directed the prison's welfare officer to contact the family of the suspect to engage a lawyer for Adeyemi's trial. The case was adjourned till October the 2nd, 2018 for the hearing.
Knowing that as a general rule, it is not permissible to prejudge issues in pending cases, how would you describe what some jurisdictions call crime of passion?
Crime of passions can be referred to as violent acts committed in the heat of passion. It's usually sudden, spontaneous, and not premeditated. So for instance, let's say a man walks in and finds his wife in bed with her lover, and the man goes ahead to kill the lover or maybe the rival. You could say the man has committed a crime of passion. So it's usually caused by grave and sudden provocation and done in the heat, in the heat of passion.
What has your experience been as a legal practitioner in this field?
I've been opportune to see people who have committed some of these crimes, and you see them all overwhelmed with guilt, regrets. You know, they just feel like they can't turn back the hands of the time and undo what they have already done. But unfortunately, it's already too late. And then you see them most times in court, the defense they put up with is usually accident or provocation.
What do you think about the statistics in the country?
I would say there are insufficient data on crimes of passion in Nigeria. I just know right now that is on the increase. There are a lot of cases of women killing their husbands and also husbands killing their wives. So it's really on the increase now. It's becoming a daily occurrence in Nigeria.
And not just the women, men are also victims.
Yes, there's a whole lot right now. In fact, it's actually on the increase where women, due to sudden and grave provocation, killed their husband accidentally, because most times that wasn't their intention. They didn't intend to kill the man, but due to grave and sudden provocation, you know, they just committed the offense in the heat of passion.
The legal provisions, what is in our provisions in Nigeria that perhaps takes a look at these crimes and perhaps the punishments as well?
In Nigeria, the offense of manslaughter, the punishment for manslaughter is actually life imprisonment. Even the criminal law of Lagos State as well, and the criminal code provides for it. The maximum punishment is life imprisonment. And you find that in some cases, most lawyers put up the defense of provocation for their clients. And for defense of provocation, you need to prove 3 things. Our courts have decided in a lot of cases, Okon versus the state, Afang versus the state, that for the defense of provocation to avail an accused person, Three elements must be present. One, it has to be a provocative act. Two, you have to prove that there was loss of control, whether actual or reasonable, and that the act was actually carried out before there was time for the passion to cool. And then the third element is that the retaliation has to be proportionate to the provocation. And it's simultaneously, the three elements has to be simultaneously. So it has to be present simultaneously. So you see what that means. You know, it's a little bit hard to actually prove provocation, but where you have been able to prove that successfully, then the judge would have to reduce your murder to manslaughter. Sorry, will have to reduce the punishment to life imprisonment.
You have worked with a lot of these families. What are their reactions? Because sometimes they want to actually hide these incidents, don't they?
You just see them filled with guilt, anxiety, you know. Most times they just feel like they can turn back their hands all the time. Those are for the ones that that are already in the public domain. Because a lot of these crimes actually happen, and both families might just decide to just sweep it under the carpet. They might just decide to, you know, sort it out amongst themselves and not report the case to the police. So my advice will actually be that families, guardians, parents should, you know, should not be silent about this. If your child is the victim or the culprit of this offense, make sure you turn the law offenders to the police. Let them go in for prosecution. You know, hiding it won't do us any good. It won't.
But these actions, these acts are against the state.
Yes, it's a crime against the state. But you see at times, even in the police station, you know, once the parties feel that, okay, we don't want to press charges, a dead man is already a dead man, or a dead woman is already a dead woman, let's just sort it out. At times, some of them just feel that prosecution might not necessarily bring back the dead. So there are cases, especially in some of these remote areas, that there are cases where they just decided to settle amicably. You know, they might even ask for a certain amount of money from the perpetrator and then let it go.
The historic U.S. Supreme Court decision in Miranda versus Arizona. Well, after that historic case, when a police officer questions a suspect in custody without first giving the Miranda warning, any statement or confession made is presumed to be involuntary and cannot be used against the suspect in any criminal case. In fact, any evidence discovered as a result of that statement or confession will likely also be thrown out of that case. But what obtains in Nigeria?
The police is under obligation to inform you in a language that you understand the reason why you are being arrested. It's actually a constitutional right. And then under the Administration of Criminal Justice law, they're also under duty bound to let you know why they're arresting you. You know, so but you know, because of the level of exposure and enlightenment in our society, we still have situations where police pick up people and then they tell you things like, you will know when we get to the station. But ordinarily, they are supposed to tell you why they are arresting you. Some of these rights are now contained in the Constitution, but they're actually warnings that the police is supposed to give to you or any person who is a suspect or who has been arrested and they're about to undertake some kind of interrogation of the person. It's a warning that, see, you have a right to you are not under any obligation to respond or answer any of the questions that we put to you. You're also not under any obligation to tell us anything. But peradventure you decide to say anything, just know that we are likely to use what you say for the purposes of either prosecuting you or initiating criminal proceedings against you. So it also includes the right to legal representation, you know, either before you say anything or as you are involved as the interrogation process is going on. And if you don't have access to a lawyer, we can get you one to assist you.
And right now, I guess you can say that I do have the right to remain silent, at least until next week. Well, feel free to send in your comments. Do also remember that you can watch this episode and past episodes of the program on our YouTube channel. I'm Millicent Walker. Many thanks for watching.